There's been an outrageous increase in the use of performance-enhancing substances in modern-day sports, and no one is talking about it. Why is no one talking about the fact that there is an increase in the use of performance-enhancing substances in modern-day sports? Well, to find the solution to this, or the answer to this question, is we have to go back to the history of when performance-enhancing substances were first used. This dates back to the ancient Olympic Games when the first performance-enhancing substances were used, and it was in the form of fig trees. So what happened was athletes used literal fig trees to try and boost their performances in the Olympic Games. Yes, literal fig trees, I know. Fast forward, this increased in the 19th century. And by increase, I mean that in the 19th century, the increase in the use of performance enhancing substances started to experience an incline and an increase in number of athletes that were using it. As a result of this, more and more athletes began to be caught, and now regulations and rules had to be developed in the sport to try and kick out performance enhancing substances. And now punishments like bans and suspensions from the sport were implemented, but still more and more athletes were caught using performance enhancing substances. And now, because of the increase in the use of performance enhancing substances, what started to happen was more and more athletes were starting to experience high levels of energy in just different various games, Olympic games, you name it. While some others that did not take these performance enhancing substances were just relying on their hard work and discipline. We take a look at the numbers of athletes using performance enhancing substances in modern day sports. The numbers will really shock you. According to my research, performance enhancing substances in modern day sports, 5% to 31% of athletes use them. That is such a high number. And now considering that some athletes haven't been caught using such substances, one has to wonder how many athletes in modern day sports actually use performance enhancing substances. Now, performance enhancing substances is something that's not really new to us, from bodybuilders using such substances to increase their muscle mass and optimum level when they are performing in the likes of Mr. Olympia and other bodybuilding competitions. Such a behavior is now starting to arise also in sports such as football, such as athletics, and other sports. And athletes are just trying to enhance their performance and experience high levels of energy with less hard work. Despite the punishments of bans and suspensions within modern day sports, you have to consider the fact that more and more athletes are risking their lives in order to be at optimum level in the sports that they are playing. The use of these substances not only has a positive impact, but let's face it, it also has a negative impact on the athlete's health. It might not reflect right now, but it could later reflect in future time, especially in the future, especially if the athletes are overdosing on these substances or if they are using too much of it, it could have an impact later in the future. Now that brings us to the next question. Where is this taking modern day sports in the future? And how is it going to affect young athletes, young up and coming athletes? With the numbers of 5 to 31% of the use of performance enhancing substances in modern day sports, one has to think that this number will increase in the future and that more and more young athletes may try to experiment with these substances. And what this will do is it will now try and take away or rob the discipline and hard work within modern day sports, and we will now see more and more young athletes doing less hard work, doing less work. And what will happen is we will start to see more and more young athletes starting to neglect the importance of hard work and discipline within their respective sports. This will have a negative impact on sports as a whole, and this is why the use of performance enhancing substances has to be stopped. It doesn't matter what route you have to take, even if it's the longest route, take it. But performance enhancing substances are never the way because it shortens the route to success for most athletes. And that's not how sports should work. Sports sometimes you have to take the long route and you have to just experience levels of fatigue, levels of stress, and just within the sport you have to experience those emotions. And what performance enhancing substances does is it robs more and more young athletes of that opportunity to actually work hard for things. So, what do you think? Do you think that performance enhancing substances will experience an increase in the future? And what is the reason for you thinking that? And what are some of the negative impacts that you think this is having on modern day sports? Thank you guys if you watched till the end. Make sure to hit that like button, make sure to subscribe, and if you enjoyed today's video and if it was insightful, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to support the channel. I am out.